Welcome back to the Lux Lifestyle channel, where we give future millionaires and billionaires inspiration to go after their dreams so they can live life on their terms. In today's video, we're going to be exploring how to get rich quicker by learning faster. But before we do us a huge favor, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and comment below. Okay, let's get on with it. Many of you may be unfamiliar with Derek Sivers. He is a producer of music, a circus performer, an entrepreneur, a TED Talk speaker, and a book publisher. He sold his first business for $22 million and gave the proceeds to charity. However, the reason we're mentioning him is because of his story about cramming 2 years of Berklee College of Music education into 8 hours. He earned his degree in 2 years rather than 4, owing it to his refusal to follow the traditional educational model. Almost every school on the planet operates within the same framework, which is referred to as the Prussian system. It was developed nearly 200 years ago as a method of training young children to be obedient soldiers. Yes, we are aware that this story is not what you would expect. After the Prussian military was annihilated in a war with France in the early 1800s, they recognized the need for a more obedient and patriotic countryman. As a means to an end, they required all children to attend school, where they learned to read, write, and sing about God. The main reason behind this was to instill a sense of loyalty and obedience to a higher authority, which was an absolute success in transforming Prussia into Germany. The news of this victory spread quickly from Prussia to France, to England, and eventually to the United States of America. Quoted from a professor of education, "The educational system is supposed to prepare students to be obedient conformists who do not think too much and simply follow instructions." While not all their intentions were honorable, the outcome of their program was definitive. A young population that were willing to do exactly what they are told. This young generation were groomed for the Industrial Revolution perfectly, which required them to sit still and perform repetitive tasks. From the children sitting at their assigned station to the ringing of the bell, the school perfectly created an exact replication of a factory needed to program the children to obey. The United States adopted the Prussian system in 1840, and in 1892, a group of 10 men determined what and when every child in America should learn, and it's been that way ever since. Arne Duncan, the 9th United States Secretary of Education, argued that the factory model of education was outdated for the 21st century. The educational system, when it was designed with its structure, is extremely slow. It is structured around the lowest and slowest learners to ensure that everyone can catch up and nobody is left behind. Among the additional benefits is that you will stay in school longer than necessary, resulting in increased student debt, which brings us back to the present day and our Derek Sivers story. He had 8 weeks until college began. He was reading an advertisement in the newspaper for a music teacher offering lessons one day. He contacted the professor and discovered he was a former Berklee professor. This professor taught Derek everything he needed to know in just 3 intensive lessons over the course of 4 two-hour lessons. Derek said, "He taught me 3 semesters of Berklee Harmony, and on the first day of class, I began in Harmony 4. Quoted from Derek again, "He taught me the entire semester of arranging 1 in 1 intensive lesson, and then I discovered that I could purchase the book for a course in which I was not enrolled, and complete all the samples on my own without attending the class. Then I approached the department head requesting permission to take the final exam and receive full credit, and I double-checked that this was still possible." What Derek did was essentially a burst of micro-learning sessions with the goal of completing college 2 times faster with the risk of failing exams. Which brings us to the subject of today's video, micro-learning. According to Derek's mentor, the current pace is for losers. Everybody learns in a unique way. The critical takeaway here is that education must be highly personalized in order to be effective. It must be tailored to the individual, which is the opposite of how it currently operates. Sal Khan, the founder of the Khan Academy, provides the best explanation of how this process works. Traditionally, you would attend a classroom where the teacher would present a lesson, then return home to learn it exactly the way they taught it to you, and then return to the classroom for someone to test what you learned and retained. You have no vote on what you are taught, and no control over how long it takes to teach you. Khan argued for a paradigm shift in which students receive lessons at home in a digital format and then apply them in the classroom through interactive assignments. With a digital lesson, students have access to the world's best teachers and mentors and are not limited to whoever the school decides to hire or can afford to hire. So what is microlearning and how can it improve your life? To be sure, there is no precise definition. Microlearning is a type of education that consists of bite-sized content taught to you when it's best for you, with an end goal in mind, and it has scientific data to support it. Although percentages vary, on average, people forget close to 80% of what they learn in a 30-day period. This term is called the forgetting curve, and it also explains why getting a large amount of information thrown at you in one sitting is ineffective and doesn't stick. That is why microlearning occurs on a regular basis. Additionally, scientific research has consistently demonstrated that the brain is incapable of focusing on more than one thing every time you do something. Multitasking is an urban legend. Your brain cannot handle multiple tasks concurrently without causing a significant loss of focus. That is why microlearning is condensed into a single focused activity at a time. However, the most effective way to explain microlearning is to provide a concrete and practical example, which is what follows. Whatever stage of life you are in, there is at least one skill that, if mastered, will have a significant and immediate impact on you. If you are a writer, you might be able to write more engaging articles. If you are an editor, you might be able to create more compelling visual stories. If you work in advertising, you may be responsible for creating more effective advertisements. If you are unable to identify that one critical skill, take a step back and reevaluate your current situation and your desired outcome. Following that is the section on curated knowledge, which serves two purposes. One, to drown out all background noise. We live in an age of information overload. There is simply too much information available about everything, and it becomes increasingly difficult to find reliable and consistent information. Even information that was once useful has become obsolete. Consider Benjamin Graham's widely acclaimed book, The Intelligent Investor. It is widely regarded as the Bible of value investing. However, it was released in 1949 as well. That was a very long time ago. If someone replicated everything they wrote in that book in today's market, the results would be radically different. There are still some golden nuggets in it, but you cannot rely on that as your only source of investing know-how. What you need to do is locate your own version of Derek's music teacher and expedite the process. Here, you're looking for individuals with a verifiable and successful track record. As a completely random example, in the world of 3D animation, there's a well-known donut tutorial available for free on YouTube. It teaches you how to create a 3-dimensional donut from scratch while going over 20% of animation skills that you will use for 80% of your work. The second purpose is to assist you in breaking down the skill into bite-sized, digestible lessons. Returning to the writing example, a breakdown of that could include an engaging introduction with a fabulous hook, a narrative driven by a story with a conclusion that pays off. We recently discovered newsletters to be an excellent source of information. Subscribe to a variety of publications. Newsletters, the majority of which are paid on a yearly basis, provide weekly updates on what's happening in the markets we follow and are written by experts in their fields. Additionally, podcasts are an excellent source of great knowledge. Develop a habit of listening to podcasts while out for a walk. Once you've identified your skill and source of curated knowledge, schedule time in your day for learning. According to recent statistics, people set aside 1% of their weekly time for personal development. That means approximately 4 minutes is sufficient. Well, it may be if the content is designed appropriately. Consider the use of microlearning in 5 to 15-minute short daily pieces of internet content. Our brains need time to process the information, internalize it, then make it stick. As you learn in smaller bite-sized sessions, it allows for your brain to develop at a more rapid rate. It may seem counterintuitive, but you're not overwhelming that supercomputer you have between your ears, and you won't overheat it and shut down. Ever read so much when you were studying in school for an exam that you just couldn't do it any longer? This was your brain telling you no more. Micro-learning gives your brain what it needs in bite-sized lessons so you can learn faster and more efficiently. It allows you to implement that learning immediately so you can see results fast. As human beings, we love to see results fast so we can learn from our mistakes and make adjustments immediately. This is how you can get rich quicker, by learning faster. Tell us what you think in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Well, there you have it, Lux Lifestyle family. Hope this gives you some ideas about how you can get rich quicker by learning faster. We all work at different speeds of learning, but if you can accelerate the process just a little faster, you can put yourself ahead of everyone else on your way to making your millions or billions faster. If you like this video, check out one of the other ones on screen, comment below, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.